Hi, you guys. So Nick and Steph here, and we are really, I don't want to say excited, but this is such an important topic that we are going to dive into today, and that is protecting you from not only the coronavirus, but also from the flu. Last year, the flu killed 80,000 people. And this topic, what we are diving into today, can save your life, can save your mother, your father. A lot of people in this world right now are feeling like afraid and probably a little bit scared, or a lot of bit scared, right? About like what's going on. Am I safe? Is my family safe? And so what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into giving you all the best bets to really feel strong in your immune system, feel strong in your life, so then you're able to not be fearful, but actually get out there to help people feel better and feel stronger.
Be the calming voice amongst all the people around you, because everybody feels all the fear and everybody kind of thrives off of that. And fear creates stress hormones, which creates a whole cascade that we'll talk about in our immune system. But instead of being on the defense, be on the offense. Like, I'm going to make this body into a body that resists any illnesses and that thrives no matter what is thrown at me. And that's kind of a fun challenge. One of my favorite books ever is called When Things Fall Apart. But it's when things get crazy and wild, what we do. So what do? It just makes you double down on all the things that make you amazing emotionally when things get hard. But now we get a physical challenge to double down on all the things that make us super strong.
So before we dive in, welcome everybody. Please, if you don't mind, type in where you're calling in from. We really like this to be a conversation. We like to answer questions. We are going to put links in. I know Deb's on here. Good morning. To put some links into some of the supplements that we're going to be diving into. We're here in my kitchen in South Lake Tahoe. So for those of you who are new to the Nick and Steph show, I'm Nikki, founder of Kaya Fit. This is Steph. She's also founder of Kaya Fit Tumbleweeds. We've all founded this sisterhood of the 40 locations that we have across the United States. Steph is head of education. She's also a nurse, and we have been talking not just right now about building our immune system, but I want to tell you a quick story. And this is like one, our family were 5 girls. We're all 2 years apart. And our sister Amy, who's a physician, her daughter is like female fire. So Rory, and we have all kinds of quotes that come from Rory. She's like a little fireball. So my daughter Coral was videoing Stella and Rory wrestling, and Stella's like sitting on her head, and she's like, she can't even look up, and Coral's videoing, kind of laughing, but she's like, whoa, are you okay? And Rory just looks up, and what does she say?
I trained for this.
I trained for this. And so if you have invested money in being part of our Kaya community, in being part of like a tribe, an exercise program, you've invested money in good food and all of these things, then you train for this, my friend. You've trained for this, and you will be the strong hero. Here, a definition of a hero is having strength for 2. Now, if you haven't trained for this, it's okay, but we've got you. We can't all just hide when things go upside down. Like almost everybody in our family, nurse, physicians, my daughter's ICU nurse, her boyfriend is anesthesiologist and cardiac intensivist. Like, they're this deep, like our sister, youngest, is a nurse practitioner. Amy, they can't hide. They have to be in the hospital where coronavirus is. And so it's so important that we train for this, and that you have people in your life that have trained for this. So we already have a strong immune system coming in to what is a very hard time, and that we are able to go volunteer at elderly homes that need us, that we're able to work in the hospitals, and that we're able to really be strong for other people. So I don't want you to feel bad if you have a compromised immune system, because that just happens. Our immune system is pretty amazing and pretty crazy. Like, most of the time, our immune system kicks butt. Like, that immune system in your body is working so diligently to keep you safe. And we're gonna go over like tips to help it like thrive, especially right now. But even before you think about that, like your immune system is a system, it's not singular. So it's not about just taking wellness, or it's not about just like locking the doors and washing your hands, because we know a lot of people that have washed their hands, locked their doors, and they end up like getting something that could possibly take their life. So what we're talking about is getting all of these pieces together to build a stronger you. So then when the germs come to you, which they will, right? Like that's just gonna happen, that you're like, you've got your boxing gloves on and you're ready to like, yeah, like Corey, or like Rory, we trained for this.
Your immune system is from the inside, right? So we can do the outside barrier. So that's what everybody's doing, is like, let me create a barrier around myself. But what you want to do is start from the inside of yourself, and that's your immune system, and create a barrier from the inside out. And that's where the real strength comes from, because your skin is a very thin wall. Antibacterial soap only goes so far, that the whole system is resistant to illness. That's when you're going to thrive. And it's never too late. So like Nikki was saying, don't be discouraged. It's never too late. It's dynamic and it's changing all the time. And this is where we can start right here.
Awesome. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about like some of like the pillars of building your immune system. But first, let's just start with a little like, get your news and education from the CDC, and really like take the time to educate yourself on what's going on and what you need to do to understand in your community, because every community is different. Like Lake Tahoe is a pretty safe place to be right now, but we watch the CDC. We watch because we have a lot of businesses, right? We have 40 Kaya locations, we have 2 gymnastics facilities. And so what we're doing as business owners is we're keeping the environment very safe for you. So make sure when you are going to your workout class, which I think that you should, as long as you're, you know, we go through a couple things that you are protecting yourself, and that your owner and the people that work there are also protecting you. That when you are like looking at like your community, you want to avoid sick people. And I'm not gonna, we have so much to go over in a half an hour. So like the masks, don't go out if you're sick. So if you have the sniffles, if you have a cold, just stay in, because what happens is even if you don't have the coronavirus and you go into, you know, the ER and those, we're impacting the bandwidth of our system. And so as much as you can, eat when you get sick, stay home. And when the people are around you that are sick, try to avoid people who are sick. Wash your hands thoroughly. So this is like, I know I'm not going to even dive into this, wash your hands and back, you know, ABCs, all that kind of stuff. And this is a great time. This has been good for our family, is avoid touching your face, because this is something that we all do habitually all the time.
Your eyes are the most susceptible. So our mouth has all the chemicals and the immune system to break down food. And so your mouth is really not where you usually get it. It's your eyes that are the most common place, because they aren't full of all that acidic saliva that is meant to break food down.
So when you're rubbing your eyes, all of that, like hands up your face, hands up your face.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to invite you guys to join, and like this is not at all salesy. I want you to join our Jumpstart Immune System Building Weight Loss Program at the end of this month, because it's great for you. It's $129. We actually have a fun packet that's $397. That's 4 private lessons with me, like just one-on-one. We're giving you a whole big packet of like fun supplements and fun things. So just type in if you want to join us for the Jumpstart program. But what we're going over here is educating you on how to stay super strong. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with the foods to avoid, because they're not as fun and they're things that you know. So sugar is known to lower your immune system. So we're not always going to live our whole life like sugar-free, alcohol-free. But when times get tough, like now, is when you get tougher. And this is the time that you're really going to say, okay, I'm going to kick sugar, kick alcohol. So the five no-nos when it comes to lowering your immune system. Alcohol is a double whammy. So when you're drinking alcohol at night, it lowers your immune system because you're not sleeping as well. 2, it turns into sugar. And 3, it's all in all. Do you have anything on alcohol?
That it makes you make bad choices.
Yeah, makes you eat the sugar.
Yeah, it makes you eat those other things. People who drink alcohol across the board eat less healthy. And remembering that wipes out our microbiome, and where is 90% of the cells of our immune system are created in our gut. So all these things that Nikki's talking about with the things to avoid are because it wipes out the microbiome in your gut, and our gut is responsible for almost over 90% of our immune system.
And our happy juice. So when, like, our serotonin and the things that make us happy. So when you're thinking about the foods to avoid, so hopefully everybody has a pen and piece of paper, because we are going to start rattling quickly.
You gotta move.
So we're going to kick the sugar. So these times are a really good opportunity, like, for actual joy. Because what's going to happen is when we kick the sugar, when we kick the alcohol for a certain amount of time, when we kick processed foods like chips, and like really high fats that are like the not healthy fats, refined carbohydrates, and foods that cause inflammation in our body, we're building up your immune system. You're going to be able to fight whatever comes your direction, but you're also going to all of a sudden be happier. You're going to be healthier. You're going to still be going to your workout classes because you're happy and you're strong and you feel really good. So the 5 things that you want to cut out during a time that gets tough. I do this like in the holiday season. So I treat the flu season, the holiday season, anytime when things get like a little like the average person gains weight, the average person gets the flu, then that's when I get really tough on myself and say, if everybody's drinking, when we go out, I'm going to drink kombucha. And I'm going to bring something that's like healthy, but I still feel like I'm kind of like enjoying myself. I'm going to do, instead of sugar, I'm going to do lots of fruit and berries and things like that. So when you're cutting out those 5 things, right? Sugar, alcohol, processed food, refined carbohydrates, and anti-inflammatory food, or food that causes inflammation in your body, that you're going to be helping your immune system.
Foods that cause inflammation are like animal products and processed oils. So those are 2 of the things that cause a lot of inflammation. And like we were saying, is like if you were to take any illness and put it in an environment, it doesn't matter if you expose it to it. If the environment isn't a host, isn't a friendly host to whatever that bacteria is or that virus is, it can't live there. So even if you were to be exposed to something, if your environment isn't acidic, it can't live there. And so it will die. It doesn't matter how much you can put your hands in your mouth all day long. If you don't have an environment that is conducive to surviving, for viruses and bacteria to be surviving, then it won't live there. So that's what we're working on, is creating an environment that just doesn't host all of these things.
And really working on that, like, optimal and like perfect immune system, or at least nearly perfect immune system. That's like one of my favorite things about being part of our Kaya Sister Tribe, is that I haven't got sick. I don't even know if Ed's my husband's ever seen me sick in 20 years. But it's not by accident. It's by it's not always easy for me to cut alcohol or sugar, because here she's a great baker. She makes the most yummy stuff. And so, but right now we're like, okay, we're not going to eat sugar, and we are going to work out even harder. So when you're thinking about the 5 foods to cut, think about things that you can replace so the cravings don't set in and you end up in the bowl of Haagen-Dazs. So all the foods that we're going to go into now are replacing and just crowding out those foods, slowly but surely, getting away from those foods, and then adding more and more of the things that are really fighting for our health and building our strong immune system. So we have a lot to go over here. Steph came in and she was like, we have to do this in a half an hour. We have a lot of things, and that's
this
why
would be
we're in the kitchen.
a little sneak peek into Jumpstart. So in Jumpstart, we go over and we do longer videos on each one of these topics. So this will be just a little window into what we're going to be going into. So it's exciting.
So join us. But before we even jump into all the good foods, and because we're in the kitchen, I really want everybody to also understand the power of physical activity and the power of working out. And when you're coming into your classes or whatever it is you're going for a run, studies have shown that physical activity actually fights against like negative bacteria in your lungs, which is, as we know, like the coronavirus is really affecting like lung health. And so when I read that, it actually flushes bacteria out of the lungs and the airways, and then it is been known to reduce the chance of flu, cold, and illness. Yes. So don't stop working out, and also joy and being like with people.
Community.
Yes, it helps your immunity. When you're happy, your immunity is stronger.
Community creates immunity.
Community
That would
creates
be a new
immunity.
catchphrase.
Yeah, Deb, that's like quote Steph. Okay, so when we're diving into the foods that we want to eat, at the end, so don't leave, because at the end I'm going to go over all of like the supplements and herbs and things that are really like the extra things that you might not always do, but again, maybe right now is a good time to invest in some of it. Start taking some like special herbs and vitamins to make sure that all the things that, because when I'm looking at all these foods, like I eat them, but I look at like Kai and I'm like, Kai doesn't eat like a ton of, say, vitamin E foods, or like you have to kind of be strategic in the meals that you're prepping. So write down the things that you like as we're jamming through this. So vitamin C is like, so one, it is an essential nutrient, but I think it's really important to get vitamin C from your diet. If you take anything over like 1,000 milligrams, it kind of flushes out anyways, and it's most effective in the foods that you're eating.
Bioavailability. So when you take something, the way it affects your body is completely different in supplement form. If you take it this way, that's how it gets into your body the most effectively.
So vitamin C, there's like research on like I don't know if it necessarily keeps you from getting sick, but if you start getting a cold, vitamin C has helped shorten the life of it. But eating vitamin C on a regular basis is an amazing thing for your immune system. It has all kinds of like antioxidants, which antioxidants, they attack the free radicals and that like damage your immune system. So berries, kiwi. I'm going to go over the drink that we drink every single morning, and I know that you guys probably heard me say this till I'm blue in the face, but it's fun. So lemons and citrus. So thank you.
It's more space.
Yeah, create space. Anything like bright and beautiful. So these are the times to eat like the red bell peppers, all that good stuff. What I put in my drink every single morning. So the night before I go to bed, I fill up this. I do fresh ginger. And I also do a tablespoon of organic ginger powder, and I fill it about this much with boiling water, and then I put a lot. And then I put cayenne, cinnamon, and ginseng. And next week we're going to be going over hormone health, so I'm going to talk more about ginseng. So put that all in our big, warm, yummy flask. Is that what it is? That thing. Thermos. There we go. And then in the morning, pour it into a jar and get our lemon.
Oh, I took a lemon.
Oh, that's okay. Here's another lemon. And then put a lemon in, and then start your day drinking your lemon drink. I always start my day with probiotics. So again, we'll go over this at the end, but I start my day with probiotics.
And then, remember that if you don't eat a lot of fiber, probiotics is just going to pass right through your gut. So the probiotics feed your gut microbiome, but there has to be a substantial amount of fiber to go with that. So make sure you're eating your fiber with that.
And I will post exactly what I put. Yeah, thank you. I'll post exactly what I put in the drink. Okay, so that's vitamin C. Then if we're going into vitamin, so our next is vitamin A. So vitamin A is all of like the carrots, kale, apricots, papaya, mango. Another thing that's really, really important for your immune system is zinc. And it's one of the essential amino acids and minerals that produce certain immune cell response. So when you're thinking about zinc, it's a little bit trickier to get. So the food that has it is garbanzo beans. And I usually buy, I usually buy raw cashews from Costco. They have like the organic raw cashews. But that's a great place to get zinc. So zinc is super important.
I remember my chemistry teacher like showed us how zinc actually kills like the bad cells that are attacking your body, so that when you're exposed to things like viruses and bacteria, how zinc actually breaks down the cell wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things I remember. Probably the only thing I remember from chemistry.
So omegas are essential fatty acid, and they're also they keep the inflammation down in your body. So when we're thinking about our omegas, they keep your immune system in check, and chia and flax are a great way to get your omega-3s. And then, and so this, somebody's gonna win this today. So you still have, you still have time if you go on Instagram. We're doing a giveaway for Complement Protein, but it's very, very clean. It's not like the yummiest in the world because it's super good for you, but it's just plain, and you get all of like
add some berries.
Yeah, you get all the like yumminess from your actual smoothie. I love it. I think that it does taste good to me, but it's not like there's not a lot of junk in it, so it tastes just plain.
It's not gonna taste like a candy bar.
Yeah. But when you think about like chia, almond, pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds, all of this it's good for your like omegas. So again, like less inflammation is better. Your immune system is getting strong, and that's what is like keeping you from getting sick. Okay, so now we get to jump into some of the fun things. Really, you guys, I know that we know this, and we don't want to go through like all of like, if you're thinking about every single vegetable is going to build your immune system. We've got to stop with the mushrooms because I'm obsessed with mushrooms. So I was reading all these studies and researching about how to build the immune system. And again, this is not just from the coronavirus. It's like what we do for a living is we study this. And they did a study that eating one cooked mushroom every day, just one cooked mushroom, increased your immune system and helped you fight some of like the colds and flus. Then if you stopped eating one, it continued for the whole next week. Your immune system stayed strong for the whole next week. So mushrooms are really, really amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into, and I'd love for you to talk about, because these supplements have mushrooms in them. So you're gonna go through your spray.
Yeah, so like Nikki was talking about, I don't take supplements or very many supplements on a regular basis, but at this time, and anytime you know you're gonna be traveling, or you know like around the holidays, like she was saying, double down on the things that build up your immune system. So this is something I got from Dr. Wheel, and he was just talking about natural ways to help us through this season.
Especially if you're traveling.
If you're traveling a lot, like I flew up here and I have to fly home. And so instead of being fear-based, just knowing that this is a throat spray. So if you're exposed to something, or you know how sometimes you feel like a little tickle in your throat. I heard from an acupuncturist one time to gargle with Listerine, but Listerine is so toxic. Yeah. And he said it is very toxic. So just to use it to like bleach your throat out. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like it was like not doing my body a service. So this is really great. It's a mushroom mix actually. It's got reishi, chaga, fresh birch,
cordyceps,
it's got turkey tail. It's got all these different these different mushrooms that are proven to help boost your immune system and fight those cells that might be making an attack on your throat. So you just do this and you go.
Now it is hard to find this right now. It's hard to kind of find anything, so it's hard.
It's called Myco Shield,
and we'll post it for you guys. But this is also the same brand, and it's just a pill form instead of a throat spray. I live on this stuff because I coach so much. I'm always constantly screaming and always like pushing my my throat and my vocal cords. But this is like an immune system builder, and so when you're traveling, we'll post like most of these, but all of this stuff you can find at your local health food store or on Amazon or wherever you shop. Okay, so mushrooms, you can get them in all different kinds of forms. So you can eat them, cook them, eat them, and which is great.
They have like a replacement for a coffee drink, so you can use. It's called mushroom coffee, and some of them actually have coffee in it, but you can get them without too. So that if you feel like, oh yes, this Force Mag, I love this. I love this company. So this doesn't have any caffeine in it, but you know how sometimes in the afternoon you feel like you want a coffee, and then you're like, that's not a good idea at all, and you end up regretting it later. But this tastes like a lot creamy, like coffee and yummy like that. But it's got all kinds of things that'll just build you up instead of hype you up.
Yep, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go through when you are like in this season and you're building your immune system. You want to probably check where you're at already. So before I can say like, okay, take your vitamin D and take 2,000 to 4,000 IUs of it. You kind of need to know where you are, but vitamin D right now, it's winter, so I don't always take vitamin D, but vitamin D is a good, it's a good time right now because it really builds your immune system, and it's something that most of us are deficient in, especially in the winter.
Helps with energy.
In Tahoe, she lives in San Diego, and so she might have a higher level of natural vitamin D because she runs outside a lot. But get it checked. But in general, it's good right now to be taking a good vitamin D. So we have a discount code, and Allie, if you're watching, or Deb, if you guys can put the discount code in for compliment. But this has everything you need. I take it because I'm vegan, but you need these just as much as we do. We've been plant-based forever, but a lot of these like things that we're talking about building your immune system are no longer in our food.
So our soil is depleted, so this is all the micronutrients that we need, essentials.
So there's a lot of things in here that build your immune system, but like we talked about zinc, we talked about D3, we talked about our omegas, and then I'll go over like iodine and things like that next week when we talk about hormones and all that good stuff. So when you are going through this season, I think that it is
another one.
So yeah,
this is another one that we got from Dr. Whale, Astragalus, because it's particularly helps your defense against virus, and that's what's going on right now with the coronavirus.
So Astragalus is inexpensive. It's also in the wellness formula. If you take wellness, I was looking at like all the things that are in wellness, and Astragalus is one of them, but it's really inexpensive. Again, you can kind of get it anywhere, and it's something at this time that you'll want to probably add into your repertoire.
And anytime you're exposed to a virus, like maybe you hung out with somebody and then the next day they get sick, throughout the next, when this subsides soon, and then 6 months from now you just keep it in your cupboard and take it when you need to.
Garlic is, so eating raw, and you can cook the garlic, but eating fresh garlic, it's allicin is what you get out of garlic. So if you can see here, it's got the allicin. So you don't want to get
5,000 micrograms.
You don't want to get fermented garlic. You want to make sure that it's got the allicin in it. But how you get that with raw garlic is, and sometimes I have to freeze my garlic because it goes bad, but I pull it out and then I chop it all up, and then you leave it out for 10 minutes, and then you cook it. So then you put it into your food.
I use that kind that they already have crushed at Trader Joe's because it takes too much time for me to deal with regular garlic. But they have it already minced and there's no preservatives in it. And then I put heaping tablespoons in everything we eat.
Yeah, and I think we smell good.
Probably not.
Okay, so we talked about probiotics, but right now prebiotics and probiotics are important because, as we said, your immune system, if your gut is healthy, so if you're having gut issues, you can, like if you're having weight around your abdominal area, if you're having like energy issues, if your immune system is low, a lot of that has to do with our microbiome is off. Do I always take probiotics? No, but I take a lot of food that has probiotics and prebiotics naturally occurring in them. So when you're thinking about, like right now, you might want to take like a probiotic and a prebiotic, but really also you can get a lot of this from your food. So if you're thinking about like kimchi, any of the fermented foods, yeah. I almost like probably like 1 week or 2 weeks out of the month, I kind of treat myself to, I love the non-sweetened cashew yogurt, and I put it in with like all my fruit, and I put walnuts in for great omegas, and that is my like probiotics. And then like prebiotics are like indigestible fibers that feed your microbiome. So that's one thing that you might want to think about starting your day with. And then garlic, ginger. So we already talked about ginger. And that's it, you guys. So there is, when you're thinking about like how you can build your immune system, the 5 foods to avoid are sugars, processed food, processed oils, alcohol, and the food that causes inflammation. If you're thinking about the 5 foods to add into your diet, think about like the vitamin-rich food. So as much color as possible. The cruciferous vegetables are all powerhouses for your immune system. So really think about eat your veggies first, you guys. That's gonna make you really strong. Do not stop exercising. Exercise, exercise, exercise. It clears your lungs and it makes you strong from the inside out. So really make sure that you're continuing to exercise. That when you're thinking about purchasing or buying some kind of like herbs and supplements, the biggest bang for your buck is thinking about adding some mushrooms, whatever those like little supplements that you like, but some mushrooms in. Make sure that you're getting enough garlic, that maybe it's like the wellness formula, like those kind of things. These are, I usually have like kind of a big little base of these different kind of supplements, and at different times throughout the seasons, I add in and take away from supplements.
I wanted to just like close with thinking about, one, what we put in our mouth is really important, but also what we put into our mind.
Yeah.
And so like Nikki was saying, is maybe just look at just the CDC and decide that that's the only news you're going to take in, instead of this feed that's going around that's all based on fear, because fear is a lot of times money-based, because people want to get hits on their social media and all of these things that we don't need. And so thinking about looking at what like a real resource is. So when you need to, check the CDC, the rest of it just put out of your mind. Take this as an opportunity, because leaders get excited when bad things happen, because look what this is doing. Like if this motivates you to eat this way and to move and to feel amazing all the rest of the time, then this was really an opportunity, not a curse or something bad that we can treat our body as like something. This is an exciting time to really double down on being like the best, healthiest, strongest human we can be to help other people.
I love that. Thank you so much. So thank you guys so much for connecting, remembering that community is so important, and we're so proud of you guys. Like, thank you so much for being part of our community, for being strong, and it's not always easy to build the strong relationships, strong immune systems, but if you are at this point strong, be proud of yourself and get out there and help people. Like, you don't need to lock yourself in. Like, get out there and be helpful. Thank you if you are a nurse or a physician and out there in the healthcare. Thank you so much, because I know you're working extra. We know what you're going through. We honor what you're doing, and we'll do anything to help you. So please, please, please let us know how we can help you. If you want more information, we want you to join Jumpstart. So Deb will put the link in there for you guys to join. Just reach out to us, join Jumpstart. We want to just keep feeding you good stuff to make you healthy, happy, and strong. Yay. Love you guys. Bye.